Nothing like a smooth crime caper. Ocean's 8, directed by Gary Ross. Released in June of 2018 with a runtime of 1 hour and 50 minutes. Starring Sandra Bullock, Anne Hathaway, Helen Bonham Carter, Kate Blanchett, Sarah Paulson, Mindy Kaling, Rihanna, and Awkwafina. Awkwafina. Okay, am I saying that right? Awkwafina? Sorry if I've got that wrong. Also starring Richard Armitage, James Corden, and Elliot Gould. Production budget of 70 million and a domestic take of 140 million. I mean, right there, it's doubled its cost. A foreign take of 157 million, worldwide total of $297 million, giving us a final profit of $227 million. This movie has received a fair bit of criticism. Some have called it a failure. Some have called it a financial failure. I could understand attacking the movie itself, but calling it a financial failure, that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, unless there's some massive behind-the-scenes expenses that they haven't reported or no one, or we just won't know about. If you invest 70 million and get a triple return in ticket sales after cost, how is that a failure? Okay, so looking at the characters, we'll start with Debbie Ocean. Debbie is cool, calm, and very collected. Eyes on the prize at all times. Very, very focused in her pursuit of both cash and vengeance. She feels like the meaner sister of the Ocean family. She really does. Danny felt like a nicer guy than Debbie. Good fun. Lou. Lou is your realistic best buddy. She's a crook too. She's into it as much as Debbie is, but she's the one thinking ahead, worrying about the cops, worrying about, repercussions, worrying about fallout and failure. Worried that Debbie's going too far or too wrapped up in her own vengeance scheme. Much like in Ocean's 11, where Danny Ocean had his mate, played by Brad Pitt. IMDb says it was Rusty. He played Rusty Ryan. Yeah, that guy. Just like he was there to be the realistic reality check for Danny, Lou is here to be the reality check for Debbie. Played very well, quite liked her. She was subtle, a much more subtle, reserved character. Likeable, not exactly a standout, but likeable. Daphne Kluger, very fun. Great to watch her diva around the place and act like a bit of a ditz and just be a little clueless and quite the easy mule, quite the easy mark. Till she isn't. And that was a lot of fun too. It was really fun watching Anne Hathaway play both sides of this character. Whilst the role could have been pretty much filled by any actress, Anne Hathaway really delivered it very nicely and she was a pleasure to watch. Rose Wheel Rose Wheel kept reminding me of a bit of a upper class fashion Johnny Depp. Little Jack Sparrowish in her whole presentation, the way she came across. She's the least criminally minded of the whole lot. And it was fun watching her. I enjoyed her character. Amita, cool character, integral to the plot, kind of underplayed, fairly underdeveloped, I think. Would have liked to see more with her, would have liked to see more of her interactions with the others, but still, it was alright. Didn't detract, wasn't a problem. Just not great. Now, Constance, she was one of the standout characters. I really enjoyed this little thief. One minute she's awkward, next minute she's super confident, super competent, can do whatever needs to be done. A complicated and fun character to watch. Got a bit of a dangerous vibe to her. I thought that if anyone in the crew was going to resort to violence, it would have probably been her. She just had this element of mean about her. I liked it. Nineball, not much to start off, but gets better as the movie goes along. In fact, gets really good by the end of the movie. I was quite surprised. I was kind of expecting Rihanna just to dial it in. But no, this was good. This was a good character. Sarah Paulson as Tammy. Honestly, Tammy was the lamest of the lot. She was the dullest. She had the least amount of, character in her character. I suppose she is just meant to be a suburban mum who happens to be an incredible fence. But, I don't know, she just played it very straight. There wasn't a lot to her. I mean, her character was integral to the story. It really was. But it was just the most plain entry, so to speak. Claude Becker, generic background, pseudo-villain, bad-ish guy. Ruben making a reappearance made me so happy. I love the fact we got throwbacks to the Oceans movies. The other Oceans movies, 11, 12, and 13. Although we don't talk about 12 too much. It's good to see him. I just loved it. I would like to see him in the movie more. I mean, much, much more. But then it wasn't their movie, was it? It was more about the girls this time round. But it was cool. Mr. Corden is John Fraser. Interesting mix of character. He wasn't there very long, but he had a real presence. Came across as a bit of a goof, but he was also absolutely a relentless bloodhound. Like a really condensed version of Inspector Clouseau. As charming, as chatty, as disarmingly goofy as he was on track and on target. He was relentless. And I really liked him. If there's a sequel, if they make an Ocean's 9, I want him back. And I want him as a main character, because that was some fun. Overall, for the characters, look, they were good. But they weren't great. There was nothing super standout about them. Or the ones that really stood out were support characters. But at the same time, there was nothing poor about the rest of them. So look, it was just good. It was your standard 3. It was in danger of dropping below a 3 at one stage, but then all the other characters started to warm up into their roles, and we got involved with them, and you start to like them a lot more. By the end of it, you're kind of attached to the girls. You want to see them succeed, and you would like to see another movie. So yeah, characters, it's a 3. Story, well, it's a heist, and it's a fairly complicated one. It's a fun one to watch unfold. You're not really sure how it's going to play out or how they're going to do it. There's a fair bit of off-the-screen manipulations. There's a fair bit of development and plot and cunning that you don't get to see until it's revealed at the end. I'm not always a fan of that. I kind of do like to see the ploy unfold. I like to see the play as it happens from the heist point of view. But at the same time, it wasn't mission critical information, and it was a nice bit of twist at the end. So I'm still okay with it. Short version, I like to see all the details as they play, but this wasn't critical, so it's okay at the end as a twist. It's a delightfully slow build-up at the start. It's your gradual reveal of intentions, character types, building the team, explaining the heist, putting the pieces together. They demonstrate everyone's skills. They show them how they are useful and what they can do, what they can't do. They're short glimpses of their background. And like all good heist movies, you've got multiple threads all being weaved into the same tapestry. As the story builds, as their plans come into focus, as everything is put together, they start sprinkling the problems in. Oh, look, extra security. Oh, it's really good security. Oh, here's another security measure. Oh, here's another stepping stone, or a stumbling block, or a hurdle to get past. And the girls do overcome all of them, some of them very, very easily. It sometimes had a lot less tension than you're expecting, because there was no real sudden, urgent, everything's gone wrong moment. It wouldn't have hurt the story to have a bit more, emergency panic mode, because that's always cool watching smart people or clever cons have to scramble to fix a problem or plug a hole in the plot line, which I missed. But at the same time, they do explain at the very beginning that, Debbie has been planning this for 5.5 years. So she had this pretty much laid out to the final detail. It all came together really well. Watching the heist play out at the end was a delight. It really was. And watching them all get away with it very quickly was, a bit unexpected, to be honest. It finished, I thought, fast. And then the movie kept going anyway. Stealing all the stuff was one thing. Getting away with it and framing someone else, well, that was the rest of the story. I enjoyed the continuing saga of the heist. It was different to the other Oceans movies in this respect. And to be honest, you needed something different. You couldn't just have another carbon copy, because you're up against some extremely talented actors in Oceans 11, 12, and 13. So if you're trying to do that, you're going to get unfair comparisons, or maybe very fair comparisons, which is worse. So yeah, they did their own thing. They did their own style of story, and I appreciated that. Watching Nineball as the hacker do her hacker thing, I think is one of the few times I've ever seen a movie hacker not punching away on a keyboard and all the green text on a black background flickering around like the Matrix style thing. None of that. They actually use some real life Hollywood examples, yes, I know, but real life examples of how people access your security systems. I like that. I appreciated the fact that Nineball just didn't go click, 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 I'm in. She had to work at it. There was quite a few attempts to get where she had to go. That was cool. Movie ends with all loose threads, all nicely tied up, the whole thing bundled up in a nice big bow, along with the surprise cameo from the amazing Yen. Really happy to see him back. and the entire subplot that you didn't know about, the secondary part of the con that you had no idea was happening, it almost felt like a cheat. But I do feel if they got and included that particular part of the story into an already very complicated scenario, it would have just got very, very messy. So I can see why they didn't. I can see why they did it this way. Doesn't mean I wouldn't have liked to see it all happen. I just understand. Yep, movie ends, everyone's happy, everyone's rich. It doesn't really set up for a sequel, but it does leaving you wanting one. And I was really happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a score of 3.25. The 2.5 because I love a heist, and this one delivered. Look and feel. Well, it's an Oceans movie, and all Oceans movies so far have had incredible music. And this one is no different. The music is on point. I mean, yes, the movie looked good, okay? Ball gowns are amazing. The sets are incredible. The heist was smooth as silk with all the cutaways and the extra shots and the overheads and the panning shots. Oh, it's just a gorgeous looking movie. Lovely shots of the street, but then you're back in this excellent looking museum or you're in a lovely office building or wherever they are, whatever they happen to be doing, it just looked nice. It was either incredibly stylish or just well shot and well lit. The whole thing was good. There we go, look and feel. Very pretty, very nice, slick, sophisticated heist setting. Everything you expect in an Oceans movie. But the music is fantastic. I've had the soundtrack running on YouTube all afternoon. I'm happy. I also appreciate the care and attention to detail that was put into the costumes. All the girls had their signature look. And it really suited them. It never really left them. The only time they got out of uniform, out of character, so to speak, was at the ball, where they all got the strut on and some amazing dresses as part of their cover, going in as support personnel or a waitress or something like that. And then they glam their way out. And it was very nice, very cool to watch. I imagine that was a lot of fun for the actresses as well. And no, it's not just a girls like to dress up thing. I happen to really enjoy wearing a suit. It's as sophisticated as I'm ever gonna get, so I enjoy it. Look and feel. It's a well-presented movie. It's slick, it's stylish, it's very, very nice. Lots of good effects, lots of good transitions. It tells you the visual story as well as everything else. With, as I have mentioned repeatedly, very, very nice music. Look and feel, 3.5. Well, the script and dialogue for this movie lives up to the Ocean's expectations. It's fast, it's witty, it's understated. You got lots of conversational exposition. You got lots of back and forth. You got lots of assumed knowledge on their behalf. They'll talk about something that's happened once before, and then they'll reference it again, and they slowly build a picture, and you've got to keep track of it and figure it out. They spoon feed a lot of the information, but they do it in such a way that makes the viewer feel clever. You feel kind of smart that you're keeping up with all this. The team dynamic is well done. There's a real camaraderie there by the end of the movie. They're all a little cold and standoffish to begin with, but they build up and they build up and they get along better and better. And by the end, they're all mates. They're all buddies. And that was really nice to watch as well. We didn't have to put up with any of this internal fighting routine. None of that rubbish. That was nice. It did mirror the Ocean's 11 movie a fair bit, though. A lot of the relationships and dynamics did mimic the other Ocean's movies. Not a bad thing, just a noticeable thing. But then again, you've called it an Ocean's movie, so naturally you're going to be thinking about the other ones. And these girls, they fit right in. I'd love to see a combined movie with this team and Danny's team doing something together. That'd be wicked. That'd also be about 3 hours long. I'm okay with that, actually. The dialogue was also crisp. It was clear. Even when it was quiet or they were whispering, it was still always audible. You could tell what was happening. Good use of technology. It felt current. It felt up to date. It felt quite believable and real. Okay, apart from this thing, this is a 3D printer for Cuba fake diamonds. This prints fake diamonds. I didn't think it was possible, especially not with that clarity. Especially not as clear and as nice as that is. I'll look it up later. Maybe it is a possibility. But to me, I saw that and thought, no. Maybe it's one of those common knowledge versus movie assumption sort of things. You know, like comic book physics. The most standout examples of dialogue was probably between Debbie and Lou. They were really good. That flowed nicely. Anne Hathaway's Kluger, where she was hamming it up as if she was bad at acting sometimes. Or she was one of those people overdoing it for the camera. She's a good enough actress to act like she's overacting, but not overacting because her acting is good. Not On the whole, script and dialogue was good value. It never let you down. And even if the topic or the subject matter was just generic, they had it in an interesting place or something else interesting was happening around it. So yeah, script and dialogue, 3.25. Fun factor. Oh yeah, I had a fun time. I was along for the ride. I was sold on this. It was good. There are a couple of moments where you're wondering why they did something, and every now and then you're going, yeah, that doesn't quite make sense. But it was never enough to pull you out of it. I probably only noticed them because I was actively looking for things like that to talk about later. But even amongst all that, I was having a great time. The music, the dialogue, the con, the whole way it played out, everything wrapping up at the end. I had fun. I had a good time. I'll probably watch it again. It's a 3. Haha, microphone wasn't plugged in. Anyhow, final score. Add them all together, we get a 16. A good time. It was fun, it was funky, it was entertaining. It makes me want to watch the other Oceans movies. It makes me want to watch this movie again. Would I recommend this? Yes, if you like heists, watch this movie. I don't think it actually deserves a lot of the hate it got when it was released. I think that's a bit of a misfire. I think that's an overreaction. I think it's quite a worthy addition to the Oceans franchise. And at the end of the day, it's a heist movie. Enjoy it as what it is. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a good time. As usual, like, comment, share, and please have a great week and find some time to watch a movie.